Nice.
Hey everybody, this is Matt. I'm making a new Heroclix video, and this video is going to be talking about the 2017 Con Exclusives Part 1, and these are the first half of the 2017 Con Exclusives you can get that are available at the Winter Wizkids Opens. The other the other half will be available in the Fall Wizkids Opens, which will probably be around August and September, maybe June or something like that. But these are available in February, and I'll talk about where you can find these at the end of the video. So let's just jump right into this, and let's start out with Bat Knight. So this is the only DC Con exclusive, at least in the Part 1. And as we can see, he's another Kingdom Come piece. He has the Kingdom Come team ability, Batman family keyword, Gotham City, future robot. Not bad keywords there. He has a trait. He has the same KC trait, Kingdom Come trait that all the KC pieces have, where basically his combat values and powers and abilities can't be modified or countered by characters that do not have the KC team ability. Which makes it really sturdy because you can't outwit them, you can't perplex them down, stuff like that. He's 60 points, and it's really interesting. He's kind of like a generic. He has no real name, so you know there's like it's more of a robot type thing, or like just various different people in the suit. He has a trait, Bat Knight can use the Ram ability, and this is because he's kind of like a Batmobile. He's kind of like a vehicle, only you can't really pilot him. And he can use Ram, which is an ability that most other vehicles can use. Basically, it allows you to basically move over top opposing pieces, and then damage them, and then knock them back, and then also deal damage to Bat Knight, depending on how many people he hit with that attack. You know, if you imagine a car slamming into multiple people as it drives by them, both the car and the people would be damaged in the process. Bat Knight is indomitable. He's flying. He has 8 range, 2 targets, and he is a giant size. He's not colossal because he doesn't have the colossal fist. He has the giant size. So it is going to be easier to see him, but he also has Batman team ability, and he looks like he's on a regular sized doll, meaning that he could just stand in a single square of hindering and you wouldn't be able to see him even though he's a giant, which is pretty interesting. But for 60 points, it makes you want to collect multiple of them, especially with the Empower he has starting out, meaning that if 2 or 3 of these get next to you and they're all using Empower on themselves, that 3 damage could go up to a 4 damage or even a 5 damage or even a 6 damage, given the right situation. Looks like they start out with Sidestep, Precision Strike, so they're going to be ignoring Super Senses and Mastermind and at least doing 1 damage. Has Toughness and then some Regeneration later on. The damage value definitely drops later on in the dial, but they get Plasticity and Incapacitate. So, and because they're a giant, they can always make ranged attacks. So they could get right up on you with their Plasticity, lock you down so you can't run away from them, and with their 12 attack, and just start incapacitating 2 pieces at a time. With Indomitable, they'll just be able to keep doing it over and over and over again. I mean, they're not very sturdy at that point. All they have is 17 no defense reducers, but at least you can't perplex them down to like a 16 and make them even easier to hit. And if they're in hindering terrain, you won't be able to shoot them at all because of the Batman team ability. Overall, I really like the piece. I would really like to see what a team of them can do. Because they're 60 points, you could run 5 of them for 300 points. And it'd just be really interesting to see like 5 of them using the Ram ability. Boom, boom. Ram used to be much better. I remember when Ram was better, I used to collect the police cars that came out of the Batman set, and they had Ram. But back in the day, or it had some kind of ability. Maybe it wasn't Ram, but it was a similar ability where you could pass through them and then it would deal 1 penetrating damage, and then you get to place them a few squares from them. I guess this is different. Different, but Ram is interesting. So it's a pretty cool piece. I'm kind of sad it's the only DC Con exclusive in the first part of the Con exclusives, but oh well. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is Captain America, and this is a special Captain America. This is from Earth X. So, kind of how DC's doing their Kingdom Come thing right now. I think Marvel's going to start moving into Earth X type stuff, and I really haven't read much of Earth X at all. So I really don't know anything about this dude, but he has shield keyword, soldier, and Earth X. So unlike the Kingdom Come, where they don't all have the same Kingdom Come keyword, it does look like Earth X pieces are going to have the same Earth X keyword. So that'll be useful. He has a trait, I'll help you break free of the Skull's control. Skull, so that's probably Red Skull. Captain America can't be targeted by mind control or knocked back. The knocked back part is nice. Mind control, you don't see that that often, honestly. Friendly characters modify their defense value by +2 when targeted by mind control. Again, you don't really see mind control that much, but I can understand with, Red Skull being around his mind control. I understand why they did it. Preparing for war. When Captain America hits an equipped character. So equipped is basically the new way to describe when someone picks up an item and equips it. In the past, they've been relics and stuff that you would roll to kind of pick it up and put it on your character card. And in the past, like you've had like possession and stuff that kind of was assigned. It was kind of weird, but nowadays with the new terminology, a lot of stuff is equipped. And basically, it's equipped. It's you're not really carrying it, but it's like on the character, So when Captain America hits an equipped character, if the equipped item was originally an object, and the reason this is an object because some of the possession pieces like like Brainiac, it becomes equipped to a character, but it's not an object. It's still a character when it was originally at the beginning of the game. He may choose to deal no damage and instead place that item on his character card. So like if your opponent was using like Pym Particles or symbiote suit canister or stuff like that, which were items and that became equipped, you can literally if you hit them, you can take it and put it on Captain America's card, which is really cool. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose one item on Captain America's character card via this trait. If you do, place an item previously equipped by this trait back on his card and then equip the chosen item. So, I normally, when someone goes to equip something, it says if they equip something else, the other item is like destroyed or something. But I guess in his case, because his case is kind of different, I guess, where he could have multiple items, but he only gets to use one at a time. And then at the beginning of each of your turn, you can choose which item you want to do. So that's kind of cool. So like if you had like Pym Particles and Symbiote Canister and Joker's Laughing Gas, I mean, you'd have multiple options there. And you could be like, well, in this case, I want to use this. In this case, I want to use that. That kind of stuff. It's an interesting trait, and I think it definitely could be useful going forward with equips and items and stuff like that. He has a special damage power, and this one I love. The leader we need. Captain America can use leadership, and it can't be rerolled. Okay. When he succeeds, instead remove an action token from up to 150 total points of other friendly characters, regardless of adjacency or point value. So this kind of needs to be broken down, basically. It needs to be broken down pretty good. Normally leadership allows you to remove an action token, a single action token, from a character that's adjacent to you and lower point totals than that character. So if Captain America is 65 points, he could remove an action token from a 60-point piece that was right next to him. He couldn't remove an action token from a 70-point piece because he's not he's not a higher point total, and he couldn't remove an action token from a character that's 4 squares away from him. So it requires adjacency and requires the character to be a lower point total than the character using leadership. But this power kind of breaks all that and even does even more. So he can remove tokens from characters that are not adjacent to him, and he can remove tokens from characters that aren't, less points than him. So he could remove a token from someone 4 squares away from him, and he could remove a token from someone that's 70 points. And he takes it to a whole nother level on top of that, where normally you can only remove a token from one character. He can remove an action token from up to 150 total points of other friendly characters. So let's say you have a 70-point character next to you and a 30-point character next to you. No, they don't even have to be next to you. What am I saying? Let's say you have a 70-point friendly character 8 squares away. You have a 30-point friendly character on the other side of the map. And you have a 50-point friendly character right next to you. You could remove an action token from all 3 of them because they add up to 150. No problem. It doesn't matter what their point total is. Doesn't matter where they are on the map. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Even if it was like 100-point piece, you could remove a token from them anywhere on the map. If it was 3 50-point pieces, you could do it. If it was 2 75-point pieces, you could do it. It's pretty crazy. His leadership is pretty crazy, and it makes sense why you can't re-roll it. Because it's pretty crazy, and they're expecting you, at least in my own experience, rolling that 5 and 6 doesn't happen very often for me, for leadership. So that they don't want you to have other options, because specifically, he could sit in your starting zone and remove tokens from your dudes all the way on the other side of the map. So that's really, really powerful. Looking at his dial, he has 5 range, Indomitable, which is great. He starts out with running shot and energy shield deflection with the leadership. Then he gets a little bit of precision strike, and then he becomes a close combat piece with charge, a little bit more precision strike, combat reflexes, and exploit weakness. He has a lot going for him for 65 points, and if he is on if he's like one of the weaker Earth X pieces, if that's true, then I would say the Earth X pieces are definitely going to be up there with the KC pieces in terms of strength and stuff. Because this Captain America may not be the main attacker on your force, but he is an amazing support piece and a decent secondary attacker with decent attack values, good damage, make it harder to hit him, powers, and decent move and attack powers pretty much the entire dial. So a great piece. May not be for me because I only collect Avengers, and even then I'm kind of scaling back on Avengers, but just playability wise, he's amazing. So let's move it on to the next one. The next one is SpiderGwen, and she's kind of a newer character that's been around recently. We got our first SpiderGwen from the Superior Foes of Spider-Man set that came out recently. She has Spider-Man family, armor, and warrior keyword. Interesting keywords. Armor means, I think you could put Jocasta. You could equip Jocasta on her. Gwen Stacy, real name. She has some traits. I can still hear through the helmet. SpiderGwen can use combat reflexes and super senses. So that's traded combat reflexes and super senses. That's pretty nice. Now, precision strike will eat through the super senses easily, but the combat reflexes means, she has a +2 defense if you ever try to run up and hit her at any point in her dial. So that's really cool, actually. She has a special attack, Super Sword Swing and Chop. SpiderGwen can use Blades, Claws, Fangs. When she does and hits, she can use Sidestep and ignores blocking and characters this turn. So it's kind of similar to the turtle chases from the first turtle set, where if they hit somebody, then they could move 2 squares and attack again, but she doesn't get to attack again. She can just like hit somebody and then move 2 squares away. What's nice is she ignores blocking, and it looks like she might break it as well. So it's like, it's really interesting a way to, with the combat reflexes, you would think she would just want to stay next to somebody, but maybe if like she KOs somebody with blades and someone's close nearby, she can move up next to them. Maybe that's the idea. It's interesting. Whenever you can have extra mobility, that's always great. And being able to ignore characters means that she can break away from plasticity, all that kind of stuff, without having to worry about it at all, which is great. She doesn't have any other special powers, but let's look at her doll. Zero range, no indomitable. She's 65 points. She starts out with charge, that blades, claws, fangs, and 3 damage. Then she gets invulnerability too. Then she gets toughness with perplex and blades. 11 attacks, really nice. I mean, she could perplex it up to 12 attack with blades. That's fantastic. Then she gets sidestep, and that's kind of weird. Would she be able to sidestep, attack with the power, and then use sidestep again? I don't think so. I'm not really sure how that works though. Then she loses the power, has sidestep, regular blades, and willpower. And then she then on her last click, back to my world. I hope I can keep the armor. Phasing teleport with blades, willpower, and props. So I think that's probably her. Let's get out of here. I think I'm in trouble power right there. She's pretty decent. I don't know if it's a must-have for me, but I think for some people it could be a must-have. And she'd be really cool with like playing with the turtles and stuff. So cool piece. And here's the last of the ones you can actually play for at the Wizkids Open, and this is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle piece, Pizzaface. This is based off the 2012 animated series on Nicktoons right now. Let's see. Let's see. He has TMNT villain keyword. His trait living pieces. At the beginning of your first turn, choose an opponent. Place 1 living pizza bystander adjacent to your starting area for each non-bystander character that opponent has on the map. So a bystander is like a token. You know, like Pizzaface puts out pizza tokens that have the doll as you see in the bottom left corner. So what you would do is, for each of your opponent's pieces that are not bystanders, you get to put out a living pizza bystander token adjacent to your starting area. So if you're playing like a 1,000 point event and they got like 12 pieces, you could put out 12 living pizza bystander tokens next to your starting area, which is pretty crazy. The pizza tokens have plasticity, flight. Why do they have flight? Oh, they're tiny size. So I think that's like a Despotellus type thing going here, where like they're almost like viruses almost. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but plasticity, poison, and support with tiny size and flight. Tiny size means you can carry them around. I wonder if they go well with a Baxter Stockman fly from the first set that could carry 3 tiny pieces around. That'd be great to have like drop off 3 poison pieces with plasticity and then outwit their defense and be like, take 3 poison. Or I don't know. That's not how it works. They take 1 poison and then if they still had that power, it'd still be outwitted. If they bounce on a toughness, well, whatever. That's the problem with poison. Unless it's penetrating, a lot of times it, you know, against stronger pieces, it just won't do anything. But still, very cool trait. Very cool trait. Being able to spawn all those pizza tokens, being able to carry them around. I think the game is, you know, definitely like lately coming out with a lot of pieces that spawn tokens. You have Devil Dinosaur. They just spawn in waves of tokens, you know. Tokens here, tokens there, tokens everywhere. It's interesting. I actually don't mind it at all. It's pretty cool. Let's see, it has a special movement power, Pizza Zombies. Pizzaface can use mind control with a range value of 8. Normally he has 0 range. When he does, he may choose to modify you may choose to modify Pizzaface's attack by +3. Okay. If you do, after action resolve, heal the hit target 1 click. So this is what I would imagine. Let's say you're facing like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, or something. You would mind control Superman, who's probably on his top click anyways, and you know, and then you'd have a 12. Or if Pizzaface is on his second click, you'd have a 13 attack, either a 13 or a 12, with the mind control, and have Superman like smash Batman, like maybe even KO Batman, and then you would heal Superman if he had any damage on him. I honestly think that's well worth the 1 click of healing if you can mind control a strong enough piece that can KO one of the opponent's pieces. I think it's well worth the 1 heal, because the +3 attack means you're most likely going to hit. unless they have like a 22 defense or something, you're most likely going to hit with that 13 or 12 attack. So that's great. That's honestly great. I like it a lot. And a range of 8 means he can do it from pretty far away, which is pretty cool. Let's see. He doesn't have any other special powers. Let's look at his dial. He starts out with Sidestep, Willpower, and then Empower. So I guess he could make the living pizza tokens do 2 damage instead of 1 damage, which is okay. Let's see. Then he gets the mind control power and gets still energy. So the still energy will allow him to, if he punches anybody, because still energy normally only works with a close combat attack. He gets a heal up 1 with ESD, so he's harder to hit from range. So he'll have an 18 from range, plus 2 defense against range attacks. So they'll get up close to him. They'll try to punch him. Then he'll use Still Energy with Exploit Weakness. That's not bad. Then he gets Toughness with Still Energy. 4 clicks of Still Energy. I mean, if he can get right up in your face and punch you, I mean, he could stay alive pretty well. I honestly like the mind control better, and if you had like the right thing to carry around the 11 pizzas, they'd be funny. Now, I'm just thinking about this, but a tiny size with plasticity, I don't know if that really works that well because, you know, if you're breaking away from a character that's smaller than you, I think you get like a bonus to your breakaway. So the plasticity, would that kind of counter it, kind of? So normally, like, let's say I was breaking away with pizza from a living pizza, and he didn't have plasticity. I think I get a +2 or something like that. And I think plasticity would give me a -2. So that means the living pizzas, even though they're tiny, it's a regular old 50-50 at that point to break away from them. I may be wrong, but, unless you're like giant or colossal, then you probably get even more. It's probably like an automatic breakaway, but or you don't break away on a 1 or something. It's a cool piece. I probably want to get him just because you know, he's a turtle piece, and I like collecting the turtle pieces. I really like the living pizzas thing too. He's 60 points, super cheap. You can put him on. You can fit him on so many teams, and you get all these extra living pizza bystander tokens, which is really cool. It's a really cool mechanic, and I think some people will really want this piece and stuff. So let's move on. Now, those were the 4 pieces. The Bat Knight, the Captain America, the SpiderGwen, and the Pizzaface are the 4 pieces you can earn by playing in a Wizkids Open. Now, there's 2 pieces, or multiple if you ask, technically, but there's 2 sets of pieces you can buy at a Wizkids Open. And this is the first one. This is the Spirit of Vengeance Red Hulk, and this is from a storyline where basically Red Hulk, Ghost Rider, X-23, and Venom, they were together in a group fighting against Mephisto or somebody, and basically at some point Red Hulk gets the symbiote of Venom and also becomes the Spirit of Vengeance, and so he's the Spirit of Vengeance Venom Red Hulk. I guess they should have put, it's called the Circle of 4 storyline, that's what it's called. I guess they should have worked that into it somehow, the Spirit of Vengeance Venom Red Hulk, I don't know, but he can be played at 250 points or 200. I honestly think he should be a little bit more expensive than that. I mean, for all he has, and they only have him on a peanut base, but I think he should be the size of the Turtle Mobile, in my honest opinion, because he's huge. In the comic book, X-23 like sits on his shoulder or something, you know, as he drives down the street in his vehicle. But I guess they shrunk him a bit for this. Circle of 4, Brute, Monster, Mystical keyword. Good keywords there. He has a trait, Alien Symbiote. Spirit of Vengeance Red Hulk can use plasticity and shape change, and automatically breaks away. It's the normal trait you can, you know, the symbiotes from the Superior Foes of Spider-Man set had. So it makes sense they gave it to him. He does have improved movement. Elevated, hindering, and characters. So he can move through elevated and hindering without stopping or being hindered. and he can move through characters without stopping or just ignores them basically. He has a special attack power, Flaming Webbing, Spirit of Vengeance, Red Hulk. Can I just say like Red Hulk? This is a pretty long name. Has a range value of 5 and 2 lightning bolts. When he makes a range attack, hit targets are given an action token, are dealt 1 penetrating damage instead of normal damage. Okay, so normally he has 0 range, but this power gives him a range of 5 and 2 targets. When he makes a ranged attack, any kind of range attack, hit targets are given an action token, so it's kind of like Incapacitate there a little bit, and are dealt 1 penetrating damage instead of normal damage. So he has that on his dial when he has 4/3/3 damage. So instead of dealing, so normally when you do a range attack, let's say you had 2 lightning bolts, you could say, okay, I'm doing 4 damage split between the 2 targets. I do 2 here, I do 2 here. But with him, you're putting an action token on both targets if you hit them both, and then are dealing 1 penetrating damage to each instead of normal damage. So it definitely will tie them up a bit. So that's kind of cool. He has a special damage power he gets at the very end of his dial. Fill our penance punch punk. I'll say that 3 times fast. When Spirit of Vengeance Red Hulk hits an opposing character, after action resolve, deal that character penetrating damage equal to the number of action tokens on it. So it makes sense that this comes right after the Incapacitate-like ability. Where so if they have, so whenever they hit an opposing character, and at that point they have no range whatsoever, whenever they hit a character, deal that character penetrating damage equal to the number of action tokens on it. So it doesn't say, wait, let's see. When blah blah hits an opposing character after actions resolve. So that's not replacing the normal damage it does. So, okay, this is kind of crazy. They have Flurry at that point. That's the red up there. So they get it. So looking at click number 7, he could Flurry for 4 damage, 4 damage, 4 damage. So that's 8 damage maybe. Then, if they have 2 action tokens, deal him 2 penetrating damage afterwards. Wow. Like, he could one-shot a lot of stuff on those last clicks. And the downside is he only has 10 attack. He has no movement attack at that point. So he's kind of a sitting duck. But the poison's nice. I mean, even if you can't, like, one-shot a person, if you can, like, knock them onto their, like, combat reflexes or super senses or regeneration, then on your next turn the poison could kick in. And Spirit of Vengeance Red Hulk has Mystic's team ability, so if they hit him back, which he's going to reduce it his entire dial, if they hit him back, they're taking Mystic's damage, which is also penetrating damage or unavoidable damage. So yeah, this is gonna be a heck of a battle. I mean, starting out early on, he's gonna run up and punch you really hard, and you're not gonna be able to get away because he has plasticity. And then you're gonna try to punch. Then you're gonna try to punch him, but he's gonna have shape change, so you might not even be able to target him. If you do get to damage him, he's gonna ignore half of it, and then you take Mystic's damage, 1 Mystic click, one click of unavoidable damage. And then let's say somehow you deal enough damage to him where you knock him onto his next 3 clicks. Now he has hypersonic speed, so he can easily just break away from you and go punch somebody else. Or he could break away and I guess he could use his flaming weapon at that point. Now he has a range value of 5. So I guess when you do, I guess that's a replacement value. I guess would you replace it with 3 because you would half it for hypersonic speed range attacks? I guess. I don't know, maybe. I'm not exactly sure how that would work. Either way, he breaks away. He can either punch you for 4, or he can move back and try to web in 2 pieces. And then he has impervious at that point, so you're still like getting reduced quite a lot and maybe taking Mystic's damage. And then somehow, you knock him onto his invulnerability clicks, and now he's a lot more manageable because he doesn't have any movement attack. But if you get next to him or he gets next to you with his Indomitable, he can move in the next turn, hit you, and he can ignore all your characters. So he's not getting held down by any means, you know. And he has shape change his entire dial, so it's gonna be tricky hitting him the entire dial. Then he's gonna flurry you and poison you, and then do his penance punch, punk, and do penetrating damage to you. Oh man, I mean, this dude's pretty tanky. A pain in the butt to try to KO. I think it'd be really interesting to try to face this piece. Just see what it can do, and just don't equip anything to it, please. Don't put any resources on it. I mean, he's pretty dang sturdy as he is, but I could see if somebody like put a resource on him and equipped him with something, he would just become a little bit too much. You know, for 250 points, that gives you 50 points that you could put something on him, like a 25-point equip, and then maybe a special object on top of that. Yeah, he could become really irritating at that point, and I'm sure some people are going to do it. I don't know how much he will cost at a Wizkids Open. I expect probably around $15, because that's how much the Arrow pack cost, and the Arrow had something like this. He may only be $10, because this is the only piece you're getting, and he's just on a peanut base. But around that at a Wizkids Open. And then the next piece, and this is a much bigger package than the Spirit of Vengeance Red Hulk, that you're going to be able to buy at a Wizkids Open, is the Giant Man and Pym Particle Tank and Pym Pocket Tank. It's a lot. It's one big package. I would expect this to be either $40 or $50. It comes with a giant size Giant Man, so he's gonna be like the size of you know, he's gonna be pretty big. He's not gonna be like humongous, not like Galactus size. Well, it depends on the Galactus, but he's gonna be big. He's gonna, you know, you can see he's on the 2x2 base, the 4 square base, so you know he's gonna be big. And then he comes with a full-size tank, which is the Pym Particle Tank, and it's pretty much a remake of the Batman tank that came out, the tank that came out in the Batman set when all the vehicles came out. And then you're also going to get a Pym Pocket Tank, which is on a little puck, and it's basically they shrunk the sculpt of the particle tank down and put it on the little puck. And you get all three of those in the same package. Again, I think it's going to be $40 or $50. So it's going to take a little while to talk about all these pieces, because we're going to be talking about the Giant Man, the Pocket Tank, and the Particle Tank. So let's just start out with the Giant Man. He has Avengers and Scientist keyword, and I'm sorry if it's a little bit small for you. He can be played at 200, 125, and 15 points. The 15-point setting is the Colossal Retaliation setting, which a lot of the Giants from Superman, Wonder Woman had, and this is going to be our first Marvel Colossal Retaliation. And his retaliation is it's the same as all the other ones. Basically, if either Giant Man or a friendly character had been attacked during the opponent's last turn, during your turn, you can give him a free action if no other Colossal Retaliation power has been activated this turn, and choose an opposing character that attacked either him or a friendly character, and place Giant Man such that he can make a close attack targeting the chosen character, and also target all other characters within 3 squares of the line of fire. Because he is giant, is he giant? No, he's colossal size. He has a larger reach. He has extended reach, or is that what it's called? Extended reach. So he could be able to reach a lot more people with a close combat attack. And then all other characters within 3 squares of the line of fire. And then hit characters who each dealt 3 damage instead of normal damage. And hit characters without flight are knocked back. So, maybe not the strongest Colossal Retaliation power, but he's cool. I mean, for 15 points, that's not a bad thing to do for 15 points. On his 15-point setting, he has 18 toughness, the Colossal Retaliation power, he has Quake, and then he also has a stop click, and that's the retaliation click. Yeah. Okay, so that's his Colossal Retaliation. You can also play him at 125 points. He starts at the blue line. You can play him at 200 points. he has a few special powers. They fall like dominoes. Special attack power. Giant Man can use Quake. When he does, he has Giant Reach X. That's what it's called, Giant Reach. Giant Reach X, or X is his current click number. So if he's on click number 5, he has that click on 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if he's on click number 5, that means he can use Giant Reach 5. So that means he could punch anybody from 5 squares away, which is pretty crazy, especially when he has Quake and stuff. And he has 4 damage at that point. So let's say best case scenario is on click number 6, he can punch somebody 6 clicks away for 4 damage and then 4 knockback. So he's just messing with people, dude. He's just like, I'm gonna knock you either off that elevated or into the wall or something, because 4 damage is gonna knock you back pretty far. That's kind of cool. He also starts out with a special defense power. Giant Man can use energy shield deflection and toughness. So because he's such a large target, anybody can shoot him from pretty much any elevated. He has the energy shield deflection, so that'll allow him to be a 21 defense, at least starting out from range. And he also has toughness, I guess, just in case someone's like, I'm gonna set somebody near you and poison you to death. He has toughness, at least for the first 6 clicks of his life. So he starts out with Charge, Quake, ESD, and Toughness. Then he gets Sidestep with the Giant Reach Quake, with the Toughness, and the Outwit. The Outwit's kind of nice. His damage values are pretty steady, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, then some 3s, then getting a little bit of 2s near the end. His defense values are pretty steady, 19, 18, 18, then a lot of 17s, and a few little bits of 16. His attack values aren't the best in the world. He has 2 clicks of 11 starting out, then a few 10s, then he gets some 9s, which if I'm paying 125 points or even 200 points for him, I don't want any 9 attack values anywhere down the dial. I mean, seriously. I don't like the 9 attack values. And then he pretty much loses all move and attack, halfway down his dial and never gets it back, which is kind of bad. But I guess he does have a little bit of Giant Reach on his side. Still, though, he's such a close combat piece, especially if you're playing him for 125 points, because he has, super strength and combat reflexes and exploit weakness. You really must get next to people, and I guess Giant Reach is going to help there, but with no move and attack, it's not going to help too much. He has that weird click. Okay, no, then he bounces on his Super Senses and Perplex. He'll need the Perplex when he has that 9 attack. Then he gets Quake with Super Senses. I don't understand the Super Senses. What's the power for it? Kick? Does it say kick? I can't see it very well. I don't know why you would give a giant piece Super Senses. It's not like he can dodge an attack for how big he is. Don't understand that. But whatever. He's okay. I think I would like to own him, but I probably would only play him for the 15-point Colossal Retaliation. He's interesting. Let's move on to his the Pocket Tank, the little puck piece, which is this is the little puck piece. It only costs 8 points. A theme team may include Pym Pocket Tank, and it's still a theme team as long as a character named Ant-Man, Giant Man, or Hank Pym is on your force. That's great. That's fantastic, because I normally always play theme teams, and that means I can play like Ant-Man and also a Pym Pocket Tank. So that's pretty cool. 18 defense with tiny size. I mean, dude, that's great. If anything, it means an 8-point piece that could use probability control or theme team probability control. So that's pretty cool. As a trait, just a key ring, Pym Pocket Tank must begin the game placed adjacent to a friendly character. When an adjacent friendly character moves and actions resolve, you may place Pym Pocket Tank adjacent to that character. So it's not even like they're carrying. It's not even like they're carrying it. So like, normally Ant-Man could carry this if the Ant-Man was flying, even if they were both tiny. But let's say Ant-Man wasn't flying, he wouldn't even have to carry this, because you move up the Ant-Man, and then this thing, you can place it adjacent to that character, regardless. So you don't even have to carry it around, really. but you could carry it around because it's tiny size. It only has one movement, so you can't really move on its own. And then he has another trait that can return to its original size when an adjacent friendly character attacks an opposing character. Okay, so I guess the whole idea is this pocket tank just stays next to your dude the entire game, and then when that dude attacks an opposing character, the attacker may modify its attack value by -1. So if he has like 11 attack, he can say I have 10 attack. If they do and they hit with that attack, replace Pym Pocket Tank with the Pym Particle Tank on its orange starting line, with one of its squares being adjacent to the target. If the attacking character is named Ant-Man, Giant Man, or Hank Pym, use the yellow starting line instead. Okay. When replacing this character, you may ignore characters and blocking terrain when placing it. Oh, so that means he could drop it literally right on top of the opposing pieces. And even on like blocking terrain too. And then destroy any of the terrain in the squares you place it into, and then any characters you place it on top of are dealt 2 penetrating damage and are placed adjacent to it. Dang, dude, that means like, okay, now imagine, okay, you are Hank Pym or you're Ant-Man or something, you know, and you run up to somebody with the tank next to you, and you hit them. Let's say you have an 11 attack, you go down to a 10, you know, you hit them for 2 damage, and then you drop the tank on them and do 2 more penetrating damage, and then knock them adjacent to it. Well, that's really cool. Not only that, but I think the tank could attack at that point and be like, okay, you took 2 from the attack, you took 2 from the penetrating damage from me growing big and landing on you, and now I'm going to attack you and do even more. I think that's so neat. That's such a neat little effect there and combination and stuff. I really like how that works, how it always stays adjacent to the friendly character, and then they can use it in attack and then just drop a tank on someone. That's so cool. And then it either comes in on its yellow starting, or it normally would come in on its orange starting line, so it probably has like 1 click of life at that point. But if it's Hank Pym, Giant Man, or Ant-Man doing the attack, comes in on its yellow starting line, so it'd probably have like 4 or 5 clicks of life or something. For free, for 8 points. For 8 points, that is a cheap deal all day. I really, and the ability to be on a theme team with Ant-Man, Giant Man, Hank Pym is amazing. I feel like this is like a must-have for me, you know? The Pym Pocket Tank along with the Pym Particle Tank, even if I didn't even get the regular Giant Man, I feel like the tanks would be a must-have for me, you know, just for Avengers, you know? So let's see what the Pym Particle Tank does. So this is the Pym Particle Tank. It's a pretty big card because, like most vehicles, you can either pilot it or you can have it during the autopilot thing. Now the orange setting, you can see the very end of his dial. It's not even the autopilot at that point. So you wouldn't be able to do, you wouldn't be able to do something with the tank right away because it wouldn't be in the autopilot setting. But he has 2 clicks of non-KO when he comes in normally. But if you call it in with the yellow starting line, then you get, if you're Hank Pym, Giant Man, or Ant-Man, then you get 4 clicks of non-KO. Look at that damage value. He has nothing but 4 damage. Oh my lord. His attack values are horrible. But I mean, if you hit somebody, you hitting them hard. Holy crap. Hola. PD team abilities, so that's pretty cool. Where do we even start? Let's look at the tank. Personal craft, Pym. A themed team may include the Pym Particle Tank, and it's still a themed team as long as the character named Ant-Man, Giant Man, or Hank Pym is on your force. So that's again, he's now the Pym Particle Tank is 100 points instead of 8 points. But I mean, if you play it at 100 point setting or even 150 point setting, it has a longer dial. Enclosed armor. Pym Particle Tank's defense powers can't be countered. That's really nice. So you can't outwit it. Pym Particle Tank can't attack adjacent characters except with Ram. Okay, so it's purely a range piece. It does have 10 range if you can't see. So that's ridiculous range, and it can carry 3 pieces on top of the pilot inside of it. Pym Particle Tank can't use the pilot attacks actions. So I think normally when a pilot is inside of a vehicle, you can, it has down below the piloted things. Basically, the pilot attacks, you can give the vehicle a free action until your next turn. Replace its attack and damage and range values with the printed values of the pilot, and then also choose an attack or damage power the pilot possesses and use that. But what it's saying is this Pym Particle Tank cannot use pilot attack actions. Does that mean powers? So like if the pilot had like pulse wave, the tank couldn't use pulse wave. Is that what it's saying? Or maybe it just can't. I think maybe what it's saying is it can't copy the stats from the pilot, and it can't copy powers from the pilot. That probably makes a lot of sense because it has its own stats. You know, imagine it, you know, for 100 points or 150 points, you got a 10 range piece that, you know, could copy the attack power, you know, the attack value of its pilot and go up to 12 attack. You know, then you do, oh, range combat expert going up to 6 damage. You know, for 150 points, 12 attack, 10 range, 6 damage. It's pretty freaking nutso. So, yeah, it's probably saying you can't copy the stats from the pilot. You can't copy powers from the pilot. So that's understandable, I guess. It starts out with sidestep. It has a special, okay, it has ram. We've talked about ram before. Basically, it moves in a path, and anybody it hits takes damage, but then the vehicle takes damage too. This one takes damage for each 100 points of all hit characters. So if you hit a bunch of characters and it adds up to 150, you'll take 1 unavoidable damage. If it adds up to 300, you take 3 unavoidable damage. He also has a special attack power. That's what I was looking up. High explosive incendiary. When Pym Particle Tank misses with a ranged attack, after action resolve, deal 1 damage to the target and all characters adjacent to the target. So even if it just misses, which it may do somewhat with 9 and 8 attack, so what you're saying here is, when you're using ranged combat expert, don't put any into attack. Just put it all in the damage. With your 9 attack, you're most likely going to miss. But if you hit, you did 6 damage. But if you missed, you dealt 1 damage to the target and all characters adjacent to the target. I guess, I mean, it's only 1 damage. If they have toughness, they shrug it. Anything better than toughness, they shrug it. It's still kind of cool, though. I mean, if they have a bunch of, like, combat reflexes and an energy shield deflection, you know, that's probably even easier. But then, at that point, I think I'd probably just put it into the attack and say, like, I have an 11 attack for 4, you know, but still, I mean, I don't know. It may be worth the gamble. Invincible, then invulnerability. I mean, invincible, then impervious, and vulnerability and toughness. Super tanky tank. No pun intended. Range combat expert. Then at the end of his dial, he gets not empowered, but enhancement. So if you're standing next to him and you make a ranged attack, you do 1 more damage. He has that kind of high explosive incendiary. Then he has energy explosion. Then he gets the high explosive incendiary thing back. It's interesting. I really would have to play it and see how it works. But for 50 points, to start on that yellow line and have 4 damage, you can make attacks with 8 attack. I mean, for 50 damage, you could just stay 10 squares back and just do high explosive incendiary over and over and over again and just miss. Oops, it hit you for 4. Miss, you know? Not bad at all, really. Sidestep makes sense for a tank. It's going to be moving pretty slowly. Now let's look at its autopilot settings. Now it has its own traits down below. There's a lot to take in for this piece. So it also has the same theme team thing. If he's on a team with Ant-Man, Giant Man, or Hank Pym, he doesn't break the theme team. He has autopilot. The vehicle may be given actions without a pilot. When it doesn't have a pilot, it makes an attack. After action resolve, deal it 1 honorable damage. That's normal. Then he has another one. There's a tiny remote on my keychain. Autopilot Pym Particle Tank can't have a pilot. Okay, so this is a vehicle that cannot have a pilot. I think in the past, like, autopilot can't have pilots, but I may be wrong. I don't know. either way, so the traits aren't that really important. It starts out, it's 100 points, autopilot, can carry 3 people, nice, 10 range, nice, PD team ability, nice, has a bunch of sidestep, attack values are pretty bad, but it's very tanky. Again, a tank that's very tanky. They can carry people. He doesn't really have much else going on, really. He's a very tanky carry machine. I don't know if I'd really want to use him, though, for 100 points at that point. He just really doesn't have much going on at all. But it's interesting. I really like the aspect. I really like the aspect of just being able to take the pocket tank, hit somebody, and then drop the particle tank at either the yellow or the orange starting line on somebody, and then just, I mean, at that point it only costs you 8 points. Just do as much as you can with that 4 damage of yours, and just try to KO some stuff. Now the Pym Particle Tank, I did miss to say this. He has improved targeting. He ignores elevated. He ignores outdoor blocking, and he can make ranged attacks even if you're next to him. So, and then the autopilot can make ranged attacks even if you're next to him or something. I'm not exactly sure what the double O means, but so they're good at making ranged attacks. But it's a cool little system. I don't know if I'd play the tanks by themselves or bring them in normally by themselves. I think I'd just keep it with the pocket tank, drop it on somebody, and just go to town for 8 points. I think that's the best way of doing it. So this video is getting pretty long. It's 51 minutes at the moment. This is the last thing to do. Again, this will probably cost, if I have to bring it up, buying the whole package will probably cost about $40-50 because it comes with all this in there. The Giant Man, the Particle Tank, and the Pocket Tank. But if you want to find these items, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to a Wizkids Open in your area. This is the map of the current Wizkids Opens in the North American region. The green says it's doing Heroclix and Dice Masters. The yellow means it's just doing Heroclix, and the blue means it's just doing Dice Masters. There may not be one near you, but you can definitely check it out. Go into the URL above, win.wizkids.com, checking into their Winter 2017 Wizkids Open locations. You can also win a lot of these prizes, the Bat Knight, the Captain America, the SpiderGwen, and the Pizzaface by playing in the Battle Royales at the Wizkids Opens, and that's what me and my friends are planning on doing. We love to just go and play in the Battle Royales. We don't even try to play in the main event. It's much more relaxing to play and just have fun in the Battle Royales. You'll buy a booster pack, and most likely Joker's Wild. Everybody open up the booster pack. You'll choose a piece and you'll pass the rest of the booster to the left. You'll choose a piece, pass that other booster to the left until everybody has 5 pieces, and then you'll sit on a smaller map and fight each other, and the winner will usually get the con exclusive that's put at the table. There'll also be usually 2 or 3 little, this year, in the past used to be the ID cards, but for this year, it's going to be bystander tokens, like actual 3D bystander tokens. So instead of like little paper tokens that you photocopy yourself, these will be literal like 3D objects, 3D bystander tokens, which I don't think is going to be as popular as the ID cards. The ID cards were so much more useful than that. But yeah, that's what it's going to be. Also, a lot of times super rares and chases are pulled from the boosters. So even if first place gets the con exclusive, second place usually gets a super rare or a chase or something. Third place will get, the ID card or the bystander token. Fourth place, and then you just, there's 4 people and you just snake draft it. So first, second, third, fourth, third, second, first, second, third, fourth, until all the pieces are spread out. It's a really great way to collect a set months after it's been released. I got so many thugs and cops from the Spider-Man set. It was amazing when I went there. I'm going to try to take some photos or at least do some kind of coverage when I go there. The one I'm going to is in South Carolina. We've gone there twice before now. We're going a third time. We're super excited to go. It is February 18th, I believe. It's going to be a great time. We have some cool people going with us. But definitely check that out, the URL above. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I know it's been a very long video, but you know, I've gone over a lot of pieces. Are you interested in some of these con exclusives? I am. I think some are really, really cool. I hope you enjoyed watching that. I hope you learned something new about some of these con exclusives, and I hope you have a lot of fun playing Heroclix and other games into the future. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and support this channel. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Bye-bye.